Go ahead.
Thank you, all coming today. I promise you, this is going to be a life-changing experience. You know, in our society today, people are exhausted. They wake up tired, they go to bed tired, they don't know what to do. And so, because I've been practicing for 30 years, I decided to take this time to just explain to people the nuggets of what causes energy or takes energy out of your body. So you look at the notes that you have right here. It says, where does energy come from? Energy comes from the cellular level. When I speak throughout the United States, I always ask people about where do they think that the energy comes from, and rarely do people think that it comes from food. So energy comes from the food that you eat, and the type of food that you eat has a bearing on what's going to happen inside of your energy. Now, another item that people don't think about is oxygen. If you're by a fire, and a fire is losing oxygen, what's going to happen to the fire? It's going to go out. So a little nugget for all of you is to do something called a door jamb push-up, where you could pretend you're by an imaginary door, you hold your hand on the door jamb, and you lower the body into the door jamb. If you do 3 sets of 15 of this every day, you're going to improve your posture, which is going to improve oxygenation. Another item, just as a nugget, is just to stand like this, with your shoulders back. I had a young lady that came as a new patient this morning, and her shoulders are in this forward position, and she's tired. Actually, they want to take her thyroid gland out. Imagine that. So we're working on improving her posture and changing her diet. Water. Now, what's interesting about the human body is just like a battery. If you remember back in the old days, Joe, when you worked at Ford, they used to have batteries that you had to put water in. Do you remember that, Pat? You had it. But today they have maintenance-free batteries, no water. Well, people in our society today don't drink water either. So think of your body as a battery. The battery needs water. A lot of people in our society today don't drink water. Some of your energy can improve just by adding water. Most people could add about 1 quart of water to their bodies every day. Probably one of the most significant items that you can do to help improve your energy is increase minerals. Now, if you're watching me right now on the internet, I'm bowing my legs. I commonly see this on men who have bowed legs. Bowed legs is a sign of a mineral need. I want you to think of minerals as spark plugs inside of your body. That's why we use a product that's on our webpage called Celtic Sea Salt. Celtic Sea Salt are minerals. Minerals act as spark plugs inside of your body. Now, some of you might want to think, well, what kind of vitamins should I take, Dr. Bob? You know, we don't really encourage necessarily a lot of vitamins per se for energy. What I'd rather have you do is make sure you get adequate sleep. 2 hours before midnight's important to go to bed. That's really very, very significant for you. If there'd be any vitamin that you could take, it's a whole food B vitamin. B vitamins are important for metabolism of carbohydrates. And there's another item that we use. It's called chromium. People who crave sugar need chromium. Chromium is the spark plug for metabolism of carbohydrates. Exercise. You know, people don't exercise enough. If you exercise a little bit every day, you'll increase your energy. Half an hour a day, whether it be walking or bouncing on a trampoline. Can I just throw a little nugget out to you that I'd like to share with you? Don't do jumping jacks. People who don't do jumping jacks, it causes incoordination of your brain to the rest of your body. Jumping jacks are not good for your neurologic system. Little side note. So I personally jog every day. I usually ride my bicycle 15 to 20 minutes every morning, usually about 5:45 or so in the morning. I work out with weights 3 days a week. I had a friend of mine that was in total burnout. He laid on a beach in California for 2 years. He was in burnout. He said exercise turned his life around. So all of you in this room, all those of you who are watching, you should do at least a half hour of exercise every day. Herbs. And you have to really watch with herbs. Now, we use a lot of herbs in our practice, but you don't necessarily want to take an herb to stimulate your body functioning optimally. So there's a lot of herbs, and I don't want to get into what herbs you should or you shouldn't take, but I can tell you as a side note for herbs, I encourage dandelion root. Dandelion root and dandelion leaf are important for your liver. You want proper liver function. That's why you want to eat Dr. Bob's ABCs, apple, beets, and carrots. So you could be tired and sluggish if your liver has to work hard for digestion. You could be tired and sluggish if you're eating a lot of food. And actually, some of you could probably go a day or two without eating. I'm not saying to be silly. It'll increase your energy. Your body uses a lot of energy for digestion. You understand what I just said? Your body uses a lot of energy, especially if it's processed food. Now, I have written down there thyroid, adrenals, and I have the word Cu, positive sign, and zinc. Your thyroid gland and your adrenal gland are the most important two glands for energy. That's why I wrote Dr. Bob's Drugless Guide to Balancing Female Hormones. I'd encourage you to get the book. I have chapters on thyroid. But listen to me right now. If you have cold hands and cold feet, constipation, thinning of the eyebrows, wide-spaced teeth, that's a sign of a low thyroid gland. If bright light bothers your eyes, if you get dizzy from a sit to a stand position, if you crave salt, those are signs of a weak adrenal gland. If you have any of those body signals, your challenge for your energy is thyroid or adrenal. Now, I wrote the word Cu there with the 2 plus signs. That's copper. Copper can sabotage your energy. Copper will lower zinc in your body. If you don't have enough zinc, you won't have energy because zinc is used to make insulin. What has copper in it? Nuts have copper in it. I'm not telling you not to eat nuts. Mushrooms have it in it. Avocado have it in it. I'm not telling you to stop eating those. But wheat and soy is usually the issue because wheat and soy will deplete your body of zinc. I would much rather have you stay away from wheat and soy and eat mushrooms and avocado and nuts because it's going to help your digestive process out. Now, we have a test here in the office that we've done to most of you. We do it at one of your sessions. We put some zinc in your mouth and we have you taste it. You should taste the zinc. We also have that on our webpage, the zinc sulfate test. So how can you increase your energy? You need to eat right. You need to exercise. Now, I have written down there subluxation correction. See, you all come to my office because we look at your posture. We don't want your posture to be like this. We want your posture to be like that. Some of you stand like this. Well, when we go through our spinal correction, and I'm sure that most of you will testify to that, or somebody here in the room, that your energy's improved. Do you know why? Because as you improve your posture, your brain does not have to use energy to keep you upright. You don't want to have posture that's slouching. You want to have this nice standing erect posture. You want to have or buy one of those balls, those large exercise balls, and start laying on the ball backwards. Why are you going to do that for? It increases oxygenation in your body. You want a steady stream of blood sugar. A steady stream of blood sugar means I want you to be eating protein. 3 to 5 ounces of protein with each meal. 3 to 5 ounces of protein with each meal will keep your blood sugar steady. Some of you need to find a purpose for your life. What does that mean, Dr. Bob? When you wake up in the morning, what are you going to do for the day? You're going to watch TV? You can't wait till 4 o'clock in the afternoon your favorite soap opera comes on? So I was having some conversation with my wife about some individuals that come into our life. If you don't have anything specific to do, volunteer at your church. Volunteer at a nursing home. Volunteer at school. So many people today don't have anything to do. Even if you do 2 hours a week, people in our society need other human being help. Okay? Avoid soy. Avoid plant-based proteins. Soy has something in it called phytic acid. It takes minerals out of your body. So if you're here and understand what I'm talking about, everything comes down to energy. You know what this is? This is a piston. Now this piston is used in combustion engines, and I'm sure that this is going to be a piece of antiquated equipment in the very near future. But this piston works because of gasoline. And if you have an engine that is what requires a higher octane gasoline, now listen, I'm going to say this to you, you got to put the right gas inside of your car. So if you have a vehicle that requires premium fuel and you're using lower quality fuel, what's going to happen to that engine? It's not going to function optimally. So you want to make sure you have the right fuel inside of your body. So I see a lot of kids that have ADHD. And I mean, we had 2 or 3 kids that just came in the office the other day that had ADHD. And they're all really good kids. They're always really, really smart. And I told them that their children are just like F-16 fighter jets that are on an aircraft carrier getting ready to take off. And the jet craft goes and it crashes. Why is it doing that for? Because they're putting the wrong fuel inside of the aircraft. Does that all make sense to you? So you have to be aware of what kind of fuel you're putting inside of your body. So what are energy zappers? Well, the first one of all of them is stress. Stress will cause major challenges.